Who's your emergency contact? Who should be notified in case of death? Welcome to the USP, where I spent the last 2+ decades of my life. This story I'm about to share with you is how I met Rourke, called Rock, one of the founders of DMI, Dead Man Inc. We was in Atwater. I think maybe it was around 2014, late 2013, one of those. Anyway, Rock's only been there for a couple months, right? So one day, I'm sitting there watching TV, and this big old white boy comes down and sits next to me. I mean, his head is big. He's about that wide. He's probably like 6'2", but he's just a big human being, right? So we're sitting down, I'm watching TV, and he pulls up a chair next to me. And he's like, "Hey, what's up, Mesa?" Mind you, I've never been introduced to him before. I know everybody that comes through that door. When somebody comes through that door, we find out through whatever our investigation who that person is, he's affiliated with. Like, he's running white boy. He's running with the whites, but he's from Baltimore, and I see him associated more with the DC blacks and the DMV. So I find out that he's a DMI member and all the rest of their history and who he is and all that, right? But I don't go and just introduce myself to people or strike up a conversation. I usually wait till people are introduced to me or someone introduced me to them. So again, at this time, there was no introduction or anything, and I'm sitting there watching TV, and he pulls up. He's like, "What's up, Mesa?" I'm like, "What's up?" He goes, "You got any more of that?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" "And you know what I'm talking about?" I said, "Nah, I don't know what you're talking about, homie." He's a big old dude, man. But for me, I don't go around sharing my business with people. So when people try to strike a conversation about things that I know they shouldn't know about, I'm not gonna confirm it or deny it, but I'm gonna be adamant about, how I respond. So he's like, "Man, that's stuff." I said, "Look, homie, I don't know what you're talking about, right?" So when I said that to him, he kind of stared at me, and of course, I stared back at him, and in my head, I'm like, "Man, this is a big old motherfucker, right?" So, I'm a little dude. I'm 5'5", right? That dude is probably like literally 3 times my size. So we just look at each other for a minute, and he picks up his chair and walks off. Now, a few minutes later, they call lockdown, 4 o'clock lockdown. So I go in my cell, and my cellie is semi-heifer at the time. Big old tolerant kid, youngster. So I go in there like, "Damn, Semi." I was like, "What?" I said, "Man, that big old white boy just came over there and fucking was trying to ask me about my business." He's like, "Oh yeah." So for me, I'm always the aggressor, but I'm always not scheming, but calculating shit, right? So his celly is 5'3". 5'3" is a little dude. I guess he's 5'3". He's shorter than me, but I met him from Louisiana, from New Orleans. I met him in Beaumont, and in Beaumont, he used to run a ticket. So when he got to Atwater, I was running a ticket with Joe Wells. He's from AC, Aryan Culture. But at this time, We call him Country. But at this time, he was still independent white boy, and big old country dude from Florida. And he was my first cellie in the feds. When I first went to Oklahoma, getting ready to go into the feds, they put me in a cell with him. And that's how me and him got to know each other. So fast forward about 8 years, was it 2009, 2010? He shows up. So this is like 9, 10 years later, he ends up in Atwater, and we catch up or whatever, and we decide to run a ticket together, a football ticket. But before we opened up, I had got caught up and went to the SHU and was stuck in the SHU for about 3 months. So when I came back out of the SHU, Country had told me, hey, I'm taking account of all the books that we had to back up our ticket, and there's like 200 books missing. So I'm like, hey, Country, man, what's up with these books? So Country breaks down to me that 5-3 was running a football ticket, but when you're running a football ticket, you have different units that people book for you. You assign everybody to a unit where they take the bets from out of that unit and then turn it in a slip to you. And these people usually are people that you're supposed to be able to trust. But 5-3 being from New Orleans and being white, he ran white, but being from New Orleans, he functioned with a lot of the blacks. So he had his runners were mostly blacks. And I guess one of the black dudes that was running for him, that was booking for him out of one of the unit, turned in a big old hit. But later on we think that 5-3 got played because he's a little dude. He's an independent white dude. He's not from no gang, and they know he ain't gonna fight or whatever. He's just a hustler. So they took advantage of him. Marked up some paperwork, say he got hit for all these books, but he didn't have the books to cover the bets. So it became an issue. So he went to Country, and Country stepped in, paid the debt, paid out the hits. But in exchange, he agreed to work for us instead of opening his own ticket because he's really good with that stuff. He knows the numbers. He's been doing it a long time. So when I came out of the SHU, Country told me, hey, yeah, we had to pay out his debt, or it was going to be a big old wreck between the whites and the blacks. But he's going to pay us back by working for us, this and that. So, like, I knew him in Beaumont, but I didn't really fuck with him in Beaumont. But now, Country, the situation threw us all into a little circle. So he's the one printing up my tickets for me, picking up my tickets and all that stuff. And we got cool. He's a good dude. Like I said, he's a little dude, but he ain't no rat. He ain't no buster. He mind his own business. He's just a hustler, and he knows what he's doing. So we brought him on, and he was part of the team. Now in Atwater, I used to get the sack. Every month, I used to get an 8-ball, right? And I'm not going to go into details how that move was done, just in case there's still people out there trying to bust the move. But so I hit every month, and I fuck with 5-3, so I always hook him up, to move for me and all that stuff. And 5-3 happened to be Rock Selly. So, so just a couple of days prior to the conversation I had with Rock, I had DV everything up, and I gave 5-3 his issue. So when Rock pulled up on me, I knew exactly what he was talking about because he's 5-3 Selly. But for me, it's like, what the fuck is 5-3 doing putting my business out there? You know what I mean? So we get locked down for the 4 o'clock count, and I'm just trying to contemplate, what my play is, because my business is out there. It is out there to a dude that I don't know, and I'm not upset at Rock or anything like that. I'm upset at 5-3. So when 4:30, 4:45 comes around, they open the doors to let us all back out. And as soon as they unlock the door, here comes 5-3 coming in my cell. Say, hey, Mesa, man, look, man, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said nothing to him. I'm sorry, but listen, dude's a good dude. I read his paperwork and everything, and man, if you can just not make an issue of it, man, just like I read his paperwork. Dude's in here for like multiple bodies, and he still got like 5 bodies that are under investigation, and and he was just going on, just like, yeah, man, the dude's a serious dude. He's a thorough dude. Like, I just don't want any issues to come off of this. I know how you are, Mesa, and I'm sorry I fucked up, but dude's a good dude, man, and I should have never said nothing to him. But listen, I was like, stop. I said, you all right, man? I said, look, we're good. Just leave. We're good. And when he left, I turned around, looked at my semi, and we just started laughing, right? Because 5'3" came in there shook. Because, he's in there with Rock. And like I said, Rock is a big old human being, right? And not just a big old human being, he's a killer, thorough dude. He's one of the dudes that started DMI out of Baltimore, Dead Man Inc. So, so anyway, so when we all come out, I go pull up on Rock. I go up to the cell, say, I knocked on the door, he's in there. I say, what's up? Can I holler at you? He's like, yeah, what's up? I said, listen, man, what happened downstairs, right? I'm not the kind of dude that put my business out there, but I know 5'3", I know you guys are selly, and I'm pretty sure you guys talk or whatever. He goes, yeah, no, I kind of figured that. I said I wasn't trying to offend you or anything like that, but I just don't make a habit of just confirming or denying or even striking a conversation about anything like that. Because for me, the way I operate, if I'm on a yard and I see somebody pass a pound of dope through the fence to somebody, I'm not gonna come back in the unit and be like, "Hey, what's up, homie? Hey, man, what what's up? What can we do? Like, how can I get a piece of that?" I'm not gonna even let the motherfucker know that I saw the move. You know what I mean? It's none of my business. I don't care what you got on the compound. If you didn't come to me and be like, "Hey, make sure this is what I got, what you trying to do," I'm never gonna approach you and ask you, because that's just a no-no. You mind your fucking business. You keep pushing regardless of what you see, regardless of what you hear. You know, I don't make a habit of spreading rumors. I don't make a habit of insinuating shit, because all that shit get you killed real quick. You know, and so, and when I do business with people, I watch people. I see how they move and all that, but I don't approach the dude that's hustling. If I know somebody that knows him, I'm like, "Hey, man, why don't you introduce me to your homie and see what we can do?" And it's on them to say, "Okay, yeah, dude's a good dude. I'll introduce you." Because even though we're in the USP and we would like to think that everybody in the USP is good, it's not always the case, man. You got a lot of motherfuckers that talk that talk. They got their lingo down. They got the walk down. They got the, you know, everything to give you the impression that they're thorough dudes. But deep down in their heart, they're a bunch of fucking suckers and busters. It's a lot of them. So you have to learn to eliminate your risk especially when you're moving. And my whole bid, I'm always moving. My hands always in something. I'm always ducking and dodging, not just the police, but all the other inmates. I call them inmates because, I fuck with convicts. I don't really fuck with inmates. But there's a lot of inmates in there that are looking to try to knock their time down or trying to get some favor. And, when they see things, they don't even know exactly what they see, but they think they might have a leverage or something to tell on. They just make up shit. But anyway, me and Rock end up being cool, and at this time I'm on phone restriction. I've been getting written up for using other people's phone for like the last 3 months. I've been on phone restriction for the last 4 years. So I have to go buy other people's phone And I call my wife all the time. That's who I call. I call my wife. I'm doing 26 years, and my wife wants me to call her. So regardless of my restriction or whatever, I'm gonna find a way to call her. So I just got written up, and these dudes that I use their phone, they get written up too, and they get their phone taken. So me and Rock's chopping it up, and somehow the conversation about his phone comes up. I'm like, hey, so when it comes up, I'm like, hey, you use your phone? He's like, no, I don't even use that shit. It's like, you call nobody? He goes, no, I don't call nobody on my phone. I don't know all his situation, but like he's doing multiple life sentence, but on his case, he still got 5 bodies on the street that's unsolved. And so I'm pretty sure his phone is monitored and all the rest, right? But I'm just trying to get a phone. So he's like, yeah, you can use my phone. I said, you sure? What do you want? But I buy people's minutes. I was like, what you want for it? It's like, nah, man, that's you. You can use it. Just here's. He gave me his pack number, his name. Cause you gotta get on the phone and you gotta have a voice recording. And I've always been pretty good at being able to mimic up people's voices to get through. So he didn't have to come there and dial the phone on for me or anything like that. So he gave me his pack number, and I used his phone. So I'm using his phone for about a month or so, right? And well, one day my homeboy Eddie and Fauzi gets picked up. The SIS ran in on them, gaffled them up, and took them to the shoe. So when I'm on the yard, I see the SIS. The SIS is the like internal affairs of the prison. They're the security. They're the one that do all the investigation, recommend to catch a case on the streets, and all the rest of it. So I see SIS Brown, but I'm in a position as a spokesman for the homies, so it's my job to find out why my homies got picked up or whatever, mediate the problem. So when I see SIS Brown, I go and haul him. But I've never, my whole 20 years, I never talked to them by myself. That's a rule. When you're talking to the police, when you're talking to SIS, it's convict rule that you bring somebody with you, so that they can witness the conversation, knowing that you and hear that you're not doing shit that's uncultured. And me, I don't ever have to. I don't necessarily just go and try to grab my homeboy, or I grab anybody off the fucking yard. And I so happened there was a Sereno dude that was within my sight. I knew him. I said, hey, homie, come here. So what's up? Hey, I'm gonna go talk to SIS. Can you come with me? So he pulls up with me, and I'm asking him about why my homeboy Fauzi and my homeboy Eddie's in the shoe. They tell him somebody that owed him money, end up checking in, and then told on them that they were serving out here and all the rest. And so after that conversation dies out, like I said, I've been getting written up for my using other people's phones. So I tell SIS Brown, I'm like, hey man, what's up, man? So what's up? I said, you guys gonna keep writing me up? I've gotten 10 shots in the last 2 weeks for using other people's phones. He's like, yeah, you're not supposed to be using other people's phones. I said, look, you guys monitor all my phone calls because I'm on the hot list. You guys I only dial one number, and that number is to my wife. I'm not talking about nothing. I'm just trying to talk to my wife. I'm doing 26 years. You know how hard it is to keep a healthy relationship when you're doing that kind of time? If my wife wants me to call her every day, I'm going to call her every day, regardless if you write me up or not. He goes, yeah, I know. We've been monitoring your calls, and we know you ain't on nothing. But you might want to think about using somebody else's phone besides Rourke. At this time, I didn't know his name was Rourke. I just knew him by Rock. I said, who's Rourke? Rourke, the big white dude that you're using the phone? I said, oh. I said, why? His phone's hot? And the SIS dude was like, listen, we monitor his phone when he checks his account, right? I'm like, oh damn. He goes, so I'm not gonna write you up, but you better go find some other phone, and I'm gonna have my people leave you alone, because I know you just trying to talk to your wife. I said, all right, bet. So I leave that conversation and burn off, and so happens they're calling the move back to the unit, and I see Rock walking on the walkway. So I pulled up on Rock. I say, Rock. I said, what's up? Hey man, why didn't you tell me your phone was hot? He looks at me with a little smirk. He's like, it's a little warm. I say, warm? Bitch, that motherfucker is blazing. Not bitch like I'm calling him a bitch or anything like that. I'm just like, I, you know, just let me take that back. I never called Rock a bitch. I never used the word bitch in that conversation. We don't do that. But I'm just speaking right now. But I'm like, nah, nigga, or that word either. But anyway, I'm like, nah, your phone's blazing. He goes, yeah, it's a little warm. I said, no. They said they check your shit when you pick up the phone and check your account. He goes, well, why do you think I never used the phone? I'm like, but you didn't think to tell me that? And he's like, what, you don't want to use my phone no more? He's like, hell no, I'm letting you keep using that phone. They ain't writing me up, and I ain't got no other phone right now, so I'm going to keep using that shit. So, going back to the video that I told about Rock stomping his celly out and all that, and I had a comment on from somebody. They were like, you shouldn't be over here telling stories about Rock and this and that, and Rock might not appreciate that. But I had told the dude that made the comment that, last year, Rock hit Florence, and I got homies that are still in Florence, and he already sent me a message to tell me what's up, respect, and I told the homie, hey, I told the homie to tell Rock that I shared the story about what happened with him in Atwater, and anyway, the dude that made the comment hit me back. It was like, hey, we got off on the wrong track, on the wrong foot, but we're good. And to the dude that left the comment, we're good. But so yeah, you understand that when I share stories about some individuals, these are people that I consider my friends. These are people that I care about. These are people that I respect. And I'm always going to keep it in a respective format. But at the same time, I share stories about busters too. And those busters, I don't got nothing for them. Fuck them and all the rest, right? But that's how me and Rook met, man. And until he got picked up for stomping his celly out, we were cool. And yeah, he was a good dude, man. And wherever he's at right now, I hope he's doing well and I hope he's staying safe. Welcome to the USP.